What if I told you that most of your beliefs, your habits, and even your daily decisions aren't really yours? You've been trained, not by your parents, not by yourself, but by the crowd around you. A team set up hidden cameras in a clinic waiting room. A woman walks in for what she thinks is a simple eye exam. Let's call her test subject 1. But everyone else in that room is secretly part of this experiment. Then a beep plays. What would you do in her place? Would you stand too? At first she hesitates, but then, with just a few beeps, she starts following the crowd. No questions asked. Eventually, everyone else leaves. She's alone. But when the beep plays again, she still stands. And when new strangers walk in, test subject 1 teaches them to stand too. This is how it begins. Perspective isn't something you're born with. It's a narrative given to you, programmed into you, one beep at a time. When you look at someone driving a fancy car, you set a narrative of him being more successful than someone riding a bicycle, because you've been taught to equate wealth with worth. You weren't born with that idea. It was sold to you, societal narrative. Sometimes it's parents, teachers, friends, even society at large, all following the same old beeps. Psychologists call this social proof. Every time we're unsure, we look around to decide what's normal. This is why you laugh at a sitcom when the laugh track plays. This is why you feel the urge to check your phone when everyone else does, even if there's nothing to check. In 1951, psychologist Solomon Asch ran a famous experiment, wherein he showed a group of people 5 lines of different lengths and asked which one matched a reference, though the answer was obvious. But when the actors planted by the team gave the wrong answer, 37% of participants also gave the wrong answer. Not because they believed it, but because everyone else did. That's the power of social influence. That's how a false narrative becomes true, and people end up standing at the beep. Now let's bring this into the real world. You were taught that being successful means owning a house, driving a car, having a high-paid job. But people living in mountains and villages with no social media or fancy clothes have a much more fulfilled life than us. Their worth isn't tied to possessions. It's tied to purpose and community. You were taught that productivity means being busy. But studies by Stanford show that working for more than 50 hours a week leads to zero gain in output. Yet you still feel guilty for resting. That guilt? That's not your inner truth. That's society whispering, stand up when the beat plays. So how do you break free? How do you stop following the script and start writing your own? It begins with a single word: awareness. Awareness of the beeps you've been reacting to your entire life, of the beliefs you've inherited, without ever asking if you agree. When you start to question, the shift begins. Let this be your awakening. Question. Investigate. Think for yourself. Everything you think is the truth can be carefully packaged, shaped, framed, and sold. When someone hurts you, you create a version of events, a loop in your mind. They disrespected me. They used me. They never cared. While your feelings are valid, they're still based on one side of the experience, a single lens, filtered through pain, ego, fear, or memory. But the full truth often lives in the spaces we refuse to explore, in the perspective we never considered. Freedom comes from being open to new perspectives, open to rewriting the story. The beep will keep playing, but next time you don't have to stand.